Alright, folks, we're back. How much can I get for this? I'm not...
Not that we went anywhere.
Right. That was just on TV recently.
Speaking of things on TV, I was going to talk about a movie last time.
What movie was that, really?
They were having like a Marvel marathon the other day.
Probably because Guardians 3 is coming out.
There is that. And they were showing the OG Iron Man.
Okay.
And drop the hottest take of the century on you.
The MCU died with Iron Man.
Honestly, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Not that everything after was bad.
Oh yeah.
It's just mid.
I feel like...
No, there was good movies. I honestly think they peaked with I think they peaked too early. Iron Man, I think, is arguably the best standalone film out of...
Because one of the only standalone films.
Well, no, we had Hulk.
Yeah, we did.
And we didn't. But no, which I love when like Marvel does that, where it's like, yeah, here's Hulk. Remember, he totally isn't played by a different actor.
Right.
And hey, here's War Machine. Remember, he totally wasn't played by a different actor.
He was always Don Cheadle.
But no, and I think the reason is because it wasn't relying on anything else to make it good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't focused on connecting everything. It was just focused on being a good movie.
I'll say some of the best Marvel stuff honestly does do that.
Mm-hmm.
Except the exception of that rule being Spider-Man.
Well, also like the Avengers movies are good for what they are. You know, I'm not here to like crap on like believe me, Marvel has made some stinkers, but I think
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah. Even like regular Thor is like okay.
Honestly, I really like regular OG Thor.
Thor Ragnarok was good, and then I heard Thor Love and Thunder. I think they you know what it was? They saw the success from Thor Ragnarok, and they're like, oh, they like Thor to be goofy. They wanted, so they like up the levels of goofiness.
Sometimes it feels like that, but like other times it's just like, why?
Stop it. Get some help.
What are you doing? Because like that movie, when I saw that movie felt very tonally confused. Because there are some points where it's like the most like fucking depraved shit I've ever seen, versus like standard Marvel stuff. You know what I mean?
Isn't Christian Bale in that movie?
He is. He's the villain. He does a fantastic job of being terrifying.
See, you just talking about the tone. That's why I think I like the original Iron Man so much. Is because everything else after that feels like, okay, I shouldn't say. Iron Man seemed to have a much like edgier tone, but like not in like like I'm 14 and this is deep kind of way. like it fit. Like Iron Man, like there's a sex scene in the beginning of that movie. There's Iron Man's drinking constantly like the comics. It's like
she's broken because he lied. He's okay because oh, she's broken because she believed. He's okay because he lied. Sabren Sabiv. This is 14 and I'm deep. Wait.
But no, like it I don't know. It just somehow it all works for that movie.
Uh-huh.
Everything afterwards, it seems kind of like we're the good guys. We're gonna save the day. Like.
I feel like Phase 1.
This is discluding like things like Deadpool and everything.
Well, yeah, we're talking we're talking
shock value for the sake of shock value.
We're talking like
it's funny at what it does.
We're talking MCU here, and so here's the thing. I say that I feel like Phase 1 is like one of the best. Is like probably the best phase, purely because it I feel like it 100% takes the heroes seriously as characters, and it doesn't try to be like too goofy like certain other Marvel franchises have done. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but there's some points where I'm like, why are you making a joke here? Like, this is not, there's nothing to laugh about here.
Well, it's just like that, what movie were they talking about where, like, there's some superhero movie, oh,
fuck!
This is Joker or something, where they're like, where's the witty quip lines and everything like that, and like, cause it's like average Marvel movie goer watching Joker. Like,
right. Oh!
Oh!
The old mayor. Did you throw it back? The book! I think you've mistaken me for someone else. I'm not seeing things, it's really you, isn't it? Are you okay? He turns away, wringing his hands. He speaks to the fire. It was him and his damned wife. They dredged up that old book. But something cloaked in fog.
He said the thing!
Something cloaked in the fog, followed it out, right through it, then BOOM! The man makes crude explosion noises and motions wide with his hands, still talking to the fire, as though pantomiming a story to a child. It spoke. It said it was coming for our breath, that we wouldn't be needing it soon. And then the darkness crashed down. What? An age later, someone was washed up on the shore, and him, still clutching that book. Throw it back, we cried as the fog rolled ashore. We thought surely it could still be undone.
Him, still clutching my penis.
What book? Silver and crimson, the book covered in her blood. You're not making any sense. Throw it back! The man closes his eyes tight as he holds back tears. His voice falls to a whisper.
Wait.
Please, the lighthouse keeper. She saw. She knows where it came from, where it needs to go. Interesting.
I just thought it would be the perfect voice for him.
Jack, I'm an elected official. I can't make decisions by myself.
He is a mayor.
Exactly.
Alright, let's take a nappy new. Alright, let's see. How's my boat looking? Not great. My lights are out. Okay.
Punch your lights out.
I know, right?
But yeah, like, and honestly, like, you know what I think it is? It's like, it's shot so differently than a lot of the movies that came after it.
You think so?
Like, every movie after it was, like, concerned with being, like, this big, epic, like, family movie, like, you know...
I don't know if I'd say every movie after. I'd say, like, Phase 2 forward kind of has a lot of what you're talking about. Because I feel like you look at, like, Captain America and Thor and even the Hulk, and those ones are much more,
they're
like...
self-contained, but, like... I don't know, like... Iron Man was just... It was shot, like... I don't... Just that, like, honestly, just... You could... The rest of the movie is good, too. But that first, like, half an hour is, like... Honestly, it's not... It's not only, like, I think it might be one of the best superhero movies. It's just really good for in movies.
Whoa, whale.
Oh. Whales!
I'm gonna go fish it.
Eric, did you learn nothing? Oh, wait, we Deja vu.
How to speed in the space before?
But
But you were saying.
yeah, no, I guess that's it. Like, I was rewatching this and I was like, damn, I forgot how good a superhero movie can be.
Right? Like, I will say, like, you got, like, the stuff, like, you know, the funnier stuff is still good, but I've been able to go back and rewatch some of those old, the older MCU stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, funny enough, I actually, like, Thor was on TV recently.
Yeah.
And, the one thing that I really appreciate about Thor 1 is the fact that it actually takes Thor seriously.
And Thor 2 took him a little too seriously.
Yeah, Thor 2 went a little too far in that direction, but then, like, Thor 3, I thought had, like, a decent balance of taking him seriously and not, but then, like, Thor 4 was like, Let's laugh at Thor because he's naked in front of all these gods. Ha 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 ha.
It was kind of going that direction before, where it's like, haha, Thor, fat, funny.
Well, that was after Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That was...
They were kind of taking it in that
Oh, I see what
direction
you mean,
after
yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, and honestly, that was... Thor had, like, a really good story hidden under all those fat jokes. Like, his whole thing was that, like, he could have prevented all this death if he had just acted a little differently. If he had just gone for the head. But he didn't, and because of that, all these people died, and he feels terrible about it. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, and that is such a great character arc that's just, like, kind of tossed to the side.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Steve Jobs died of Ligma.
Who's Steve Jobs?
Ligma bowl.
Brrr.
But yeah. Actually, but yeah, I rewatching Iron Man. I'm like, man, like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like when Marvel goes, like, super self-contained, I feel like it definitely gets...
That's its best.
Oh, I think so. Because, like, stuff like Endgame and Infinity War and, like... I'd say even the first two Avengers are actually relatively self-contained. Infinity War and Endgame are just spectacles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not trying to take away from those at all. Like I said, believe me, I think a good amount of the Marvel stuff, like, is still better than most. Like, a bad Marvel movie is still better than a lot of, just bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so, like, those are fine, and for what they are. But like I said, I just think some of their self-contained stuff is, like, something different entirely.
Yeah, like, in my opinion, the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 are just absolutely fantastic movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, like I like other movies other than Iron Man. Let me be clear here. Let me be clear.
Oh, you can't. You're opaque.
That's the meme. You never seen that?
No.
It's like Obama saying, like, let me be clear.
Then he disappears.
Then he disappears.
Wait, what the fuck? What's all this rot doing here? Interesting.
But yeah, like I'd say, like, what Marvel movies? You know what? We got 2 minutes.
Man, I feel like the only exception to that rule is, like, Spider-Man, where, like, Spider-Man is the least self-contained thing because every single Spider-Man movie...
Well, at least the route they've taken him recently.
That's what I mean. All the MCU Spider-Man movies basically require that you have, like, you've seen some prior movie.
Yeah, I remember I came into, like, what was it? It was Spider-Man Far Away From Home?
Yeah, well, Far From Home.
Home Alone?
Post Malone.
But yeah, and like, I hadn't seen Homecoming, which everyone raved about.
To be fair, that one... Okay. I cannot hold it against a movie for a sequel that you need to have seen the first one to really get it. I feel like if you, like, it shouldn't be that necessary unless it's like something like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, where it's like what happened prior with, like, really necessary information.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't... Some people will be like, oh, I should be able to watch any movie at all and just not have to see any prior movie. Like, no, I mean, like, for sequels, it's kind of expected you have seen the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is fair.
Let's see here.
So, like... Yes, so seeing... The fact... Here's the problem with Spider-Man. In order to get the entire complete, like, story for the MCU Spider-Man, you need to have seen... First, you need to see Captain America Civil War. Then you need to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. Then you see Avengers Infinity War. and then Avengers Endgame, and then Spider-Man Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. You notice half the movies that I mentioned there don't have Spider-Man in the title, including his debut movie.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't go.
I mean, that movie did just feel like. I mean, don't get me wrong, Civil War was great, but it did just feel like they just like threw Spider-Man in there and be like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Yeah, he literally said that. That's literally what he said.
But anyways, we'll have to talk more Spider-Man and Marvel next time.
Next time, bye.
Two nerds talking about Marvel on the internet? That's never been done before.
Never heard of.